There's something a man wants more than money, and there's a lot of us that aren't getting it. That thing that we want is a good woman. In fact, that's the reason a lot of us are working hard to make a lot of money. But how come we wake up every single day, we bust our butt, and there's so many men who are either unsatisfied in their relationship or they just haven't found the one? What I want to tell you guys today is what's actually holding you back from that thing that you really want, that relationship with a good woman. And even though you think money is going to help you find that woman, I want to tell you the lie that we've been cultivated to believe that's holding us back from actually becoming the man that a good woman truly needs. Now, I want you to just imagine yourself at the beginning of your day, right? Step into this with me for a second. Imagine yourself at the beginning of your day, Monday through Friday, right? Walk through it with me. Sit in that place, you're getting out of bed, whatever it is you do. Maybe you go and brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, drink some water, get in the shower, shave your face. Doesn't really happen with me very often, but whatever it is, have some breakfast, get in the car, go to work. Maybe you work out in the morning. I want you to think about for a second, what is the thing that causes you the most stress? What is the thing that causes you actually the first instance of stress in most of your days? And I would guarantee for 99% of you, it's something related to your work. And I would guarantee for 99% of you, because this has been me since high school, since almost elementary school. Name for me now, go ahead, say it out loud, name for me now the number one thing that takes up the majority of your time. I think we all have the same answer. It is work. The thing that causes us the most stress, the most anxiety, and takes up the most of our time is work. But the stress and the anxiety, it's okay, right? It's warranted, because if you care deeply about something and you put a lot of emotion and importance into something, it's easier to get stressed out and anxious about that not going the way you'd like it to go, right? Potentially. I think a man who can truly control his emotions, regulate his state, is able to step out of that stress and manage it well and operate in the moment. But still, what I want to highlight is all of that emotion, all of that time, all of that effort indicates what it is you're spending the majority of your time on, and it's money. And actually, the reason a lot of us as men, we work so hard in our job is because we believe money will put us in a position to ultimately find the woman that we want one day. We think by making money, this makes us look stable. It shows the woman that we're capable. And in that case, what that's going to actually end up doing is attract this woman to us, because she sees a good man with a good job who's working hard, who's making good money, and she's like, I can trust this guy. I can depend on him. He's going to be able to provide for me. Or for us who are in relationships, us who are married, us who are dating with the hopes of being married, us who have families, the goal behind money is to provide, is to create the best life possible for our family, is to give our wife and children everything they need. So there actually is a good reason to pursue money. But what culture has taught us is that it's all about money, that it's all about your career. For me, so many times in my career, it was just about when can I get to the next position? When can I get a promotion? When can I go to a new job, work for a new company? When can I move out of state and pay less taxes? When can I start my own company? When can I get that title that I've been striving for so long? And what did that require of me? It required more time, more effort, and it sucked more negative emotion out of me. More stress, more anxiety, more being overwhelmed. And I would date, but somehow none of those relationships lasted. Somehow there was always something missing. And what I realized was provision is not just financial. Because a thing a man wants more than money is a good woman. But the thing a woman wants more than money is a good man. And the misconception we have in today's culture is that a rich man equals a good man. A man who can provide financially equals a good man. But a good man is able to actually provide in 4 different types of ways. He provides financially, he provides emotionally, he provides physically, and he provides time. And I want to talk about each of those because we become so obsessed, so consumed by the culture and the grind and the hustle and the system that we operate in. Right? It's always about getting to the next level, getting the next dollar, getting the next paycheck, getting the next job. We become so consumed by that we miss all of the other aspects of provision, all of the other qualities that a man actually needs to develop to find the thing he's truly looking for. Who wants money if you have nothing to do with it and no one to spend it with, right? No man is waking up and pursuing his job and working his ass off to make a bunch of money to spend his life alone. He wants to spend it with a woman. He wants to spend it with a family. He wants to enjoy it. He wants to give it, to be able to be generous, to be able to provide. But the problem is most men, they never develop in the other areas that are actually important because they're so consumed by the money. They're so consumed by the work. And so they never become that good man that a good woman needs. So the first area of provision, yes, it's financial provision. And we already talked about that. That is a good thing. Right? If you don't have a good job, if you don't have a stable income, then you better get that right before you go out and try to find the right woman. And sure, there's some instances where, you can be dating and you can find a great woman who sees the situation that you're in and she's down to ride. But for most of us, there's a reason why we aren't in a good place financially or in our career. And it's because we haven't really showed up. We haven't put in the effort that we need. So it's so important to develop that first, to learn how to take care of yourself first, because if you can't do that, you can never take care of another woman. But then there's emotional provision. And this is where I struggled for so long. Because I would wake up, I'd roll out of bed, and I'd basically go to work. And I'd slide in a gym session here and there, but I would basically work until the end of the day. I spent no time understanding my own emotions. So any stress, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed that I actually experienced, I just suppressed it instead of dealing with it. And so what I started to see is I don't even understand myself. I'm unwilling to listen to my own emotions, to acknowledge them and accept them so that I can find a solution and overcome them and improve and build my character and mature. I'm unwilling to do that in my own singleness. So when a woman needs emotional support from me, I'm going to have no idea how to listen to her because I don't know how to listen to myself. I don't truly understand myself. And so I'm never going to be able to provide that for her, even if she just needs somebody to sit there and listen. I don't even have the time of day, the patience to do it because I can't give that to myself. And so that was the first thing I had to learn. I had to learn how to be honest with myself, to talk to myself, to be real about what I was going through. And this is where the practices of meditation and journaling became so powerful for me because they forced me to sit with my thoughts and my feelings and to understand, why am I actually feeling this way? What is it that I'm going through? But that put me in a position of power where I could then change things. It put me in a position of power when I got into a relationship. I could now show up in that way for a woman and support her the way she needs. So there's financial provision, there's emotional provision, there's physical provision. There will be some women who are cool if all you got is money. But I came up with a phrase, and I promise I didn't steal this from ChatGPT. I came up with a phrase a couple weeks ago. It says, if all you got is gold, all you're going to attract is a gold. Let me say it one more time. If all you got is gold, all you're going to attract is a gold digger. So sure, if that's what you're looking for, the Miami, done up, can barely speak your native language, then go for it. But if you actually want a genuine woman, she's gonna want more than your money. She's going to want physical provision. By that I mean she wants to feel safe. She wants to feel secure. She wants to feel confident. She wants to feel loved in your arms. She wants to feel like she's in the arms, in the embrace of a man. This doesn't mean you need to be some absolutely jacked bodybuilder. But if you're neglecting your physical body, you're neglecting giving your woman something that she truly desires. She wants to feel feminine. Your masculinity will determine the level of femininity that comes out in her. And so being so consumed with making money, to the point that you neglect your physical body, you still got a dad bod. You maybe work out once or twice a week, but you're super inconsistent. She needs more than that. And once again, there's also character traits that she's going to want. She's going to want to know that you're consistent, that you're disciplined, that you're willing to work hard, to sacrifice, to suffer. These character traits, they translate into every area of life. If you only have them in your career, though, it doesn't really mean much. They translate up and out of us. It doesn't translate down from the things that we're doing in our external life into us. Right? The discipline and the consistency I have with taking care of my body and my mind, my relationship with God, that translates up and out of me into my life, my relationships and my career, my lifestyle. It doesn't work the other way, where it translates down into the foundational aspects of who you are as a man. So that's the physical provision she's looking for. So you have the financial, you have the emotional, you have the physical, and then you have the time provision. The time provision. And this was one that I screwed up for a long time too. I'd be in relationships, but guess what? I had no time for the girlfriend. I had no time to go out and do social activities. And the thing is, you don't have to be the guy who's always out and about on the town. It's not what I'm saying. But once again, what are you truly working for? What are you pursuing your career and money for if you never have time to enjoy it? If you can never just sit and drink a coffee with your girlfriend, with your wife in the morning, if you can never just sit for 30 minutes, an hour, undistracted, undisrupted, off your phone at the end of the day with your wife, drinking a tea, just talking, or even just sitting in each other's presence, watching a TV show. These things are important. A woman, she craves quality time. Every woman in some sense has a desire for attention. She wants to know you want her. She wants to know you care. She wants to know you love her. And you do that by giving her attention, by showing her that you want to be with her, that you want to spend time with her. But if all you're doing is working on your career, it's just going to consume you. And an inability to provide time provision actually typically leads to a lack of physical provision, actually leads to a lack of emotional provision. Because when you cannot provide time, you don't have the time to take care of your body. You don't have the time to learn how to understand yourself, understand your emotions, and you don't have the time to provide that for her either. So the time provision is really the one that unlocks the others. And once again, it starts with creating time for yourself. If all you do is work from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, it's never going to happen. Right? Life is more than just your work. And I'm not here to say stop working. I'm not here to say don't work hard. I'm not here to say don't work 60-hour weeks. But a man who pursues excellence, he can learn how to manage his time better. I've been there. I'm still there working 60-hour weeks, taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, my relationship with God, my relationship with my wife. I'm there. You can be too. It's not a thing of I don't have time. It's a matter of priorities. When's the last time you brought a meal prep to work? You probably walk down the street, get the quick sub, the pizza, the burger, the easy thing, the Uber Eats, the Grubhub. Right? More intention creates more time. More intention with your time creates more time well spent. So fellas, realize the woman is looking for a good man. If all you have to offer is money, you're not going to find the woman that you're actually looking for. If the bank account is full but everything else is empty, you're not going to find what you're actually looking for. A good woman is looking for the man who's going to support her emotionally, who's going to listen, who's going to be present, who's going to have that feeling of safety and security, who's going to make her feel confident, who's going to make her feel like a woman. She's going to want that man who shows her attention, who gives her his time, who she knows loves to spend time with him. The finances is important, but it's not everything. And if you have just the finances, you have nothing else. So realize you can have everything. You can be a well-rounded man. You can be a wholesome man. And if you want a wholesome woman, if you want a high-value woman, right? Not just one who's going to go out and spend all your money, one who's going to take care of you, one who's going to take care of the house, one who's going to be a great mother, one who's going to help you do better at your work, right? If she wants to work, that's incredible too. If she wants to be a stay-at-home mom, that's incredible. If you want that partner, that helper, it says in Genesis 2:18, I believe it says, and God made Adam a helper suitable to him. Your wife is not just supposed to be some beautiful woman to look at and have fun with and have sex with. She's supposed to be your helper. She's suitable to you. She has a distinct purpose, which is to help and elevate you towards becoming the best man you can for her and your family. But if you're not becoming the best man you can, if you can't provide her with emotional provision, physical provision, time provision, in addition to that financial provision, you're never going to find her. So boys, I understand what it's like to be there. I understand what it's like to have that demanding career, to work for a demanding company. I was working with AWS, Amazon Web Services, as a data and ML engineer for 2 years. I was running my own consulting company, doing data engineering work after that. I know what it's like to have high demand in your career. I know what it's like to want to perform at the top. You know, early in my career working for Fidelity Investments as a software engineer, I was doing a master's degree in machine learning at the same time and interviewing for new jobs, the one that I eventually got at AWS and other ones. You know, I know what it's like to hustle. But that wasn't enough for me. Every single relationship failed. So if you really want to actually step into your full potential, just know you're capable. Know you have the ability to do these things. It doesn't need to be extravagant change. It needs to be gradual. It needs to be consistent. It needs to become part of you. That's what you need to do, is shift your identity. I'm not just a man who works, who has a career and a job. Do you want to be identified by just your career and job? Of course not. You want to be identified by who you are as a man, your character, your values, how you show up. At the end of the day, nobody's going to care when you die what it is you did for work. They're going to care about the man you were. And all of these areas are important. So men, if you need help building that structure, if you need help with accountability, getting these systems in place so you can still operate at a high level in your career, make money, but you can actually become the man you need to be to attract that good woman. You can become the good man. Get right physically, get right mentally and emotionally. Develop a relationship with God. Stop relying on yourself all of the time. Tap into the power of God. Kill the vices, right? So many of us, we run to the vices as a distraction. That's another thing. The man who's always focused on his career, a lot of them are just running to the alcohol, the drugs, the porn, the gambling, the strip clubs to deal with the stress instead of learning how to deal with it themselves. So if you feel like you want to make that change and you just haven't found out the way to do it, you don't have the accountability, you don't have the system, the structure, the steps, what you can do is in the description of this video, there's a link. You can book in a free call with me. We're going to get crystal clear on the things that are missing. What it is, who's this man you actually want to be? Not things you want to do, habits you want to have. What do you want your identity to be? Who's the man you'd be proud of at the end of the day? We're going to get clear on that. We're going to identify the gaps, what's holding you back. And then we're going to come up with a plan, exactly what we could do to get you there. And if it's a great fit and you're a good fit for the team, we'll get rocking. If not, I'll at least point you in the right direction. But men, realize there's something you want more than the money. That's why you're working so hard. And that's a good thing. But you need to be intentional about how you're spending your time. You need to be intentional about developing into a real good man if what you actually want is a real good woman. Let's go, boys.